Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the Carling Currie Cup. This one, the Bulls taking on the Pumas. Now, this Bulls side have got off to an absolutely incredible start for their Currie Cup season. 2 wins from 2, including an emphatic one last week up against the Sharks. Hugely one-sided in that regard. Whereas for the Pumas, they've had a little bit more of a grind for the start of their Carling Currie Cup season. Looking through at the way that the table sits, they are 1 from 1 with that points differential of just the 4, whereas the Bulls, they are at the top of the bunch. Them and the Lions at the moment do seem like the real contenders of this competition, although the Griquas having 2 wins out of the 3, they have of course played that extra game that did take place for yesterday. But the Bulls, that plus 89, look for them to score tries in this contest. Once again, a stacked side, and a man that we are definitely keeping an eye on for this matchup has to be the man in that number 8 jersey, Jandre Rudolph. He was everywhere last week. He was not the only one. There was some brilliant work from Zach Berger in that number 9 jersey. Buta Chamberlain had one of his better performances we have seen in a Bulls jersey, with his kicking tee accuracy being absolutely phenomenal. But in the front row for this game, it is Dylan Smith alongside Juan else, as well as Jean Erasmus there. Manjesi slotting in alongside Marvin Ori in that locking duo with Junior Pocomella. JJ Teron, he did make his way off the bench in the last game, but now the youngster does get the start in the 7 jersey. And then Jandre Rudolph, the man of the moment, the man to keep an eye on for not just this Carling Currie Cup, but perhaps the future in the South African side as well. But in the 9 and 10 combination, it is Zach Berger and Jaco van der Walt. Chris Smith alongside, it is Chris and Cornell as that centre pairing. A little bit of confusion there. Dayanti out on one wing, Letebelli out on the other, and then Buta Chamberlain slotting in as the number 15 for the Pumas. In their starting lineup, it is going to be Yanaka alongside Swart and Swickers as the front row. JJ Skippers slotting in at 4, and Tian de Klerk slotting in as the number 5 for Sante alongside Van der Merwe and Willie Engelbrecht. Of course, for this Pumas side, you always have to keep an eye out for him. So this number 10, of course, the battle is going to be awesome between Visachi as well as Jaco van der Walt, and it's going to be extremely important. But what you do up front in your forward pack, that is also going to play a big factor in this match. Brodia and Visachi, they are the 9 and 10 combination. Adonis out on one wing, Van Niekerk alongside Jamlasa at number 13, and then Kotsia as well as Swanepoel slotting in as the number 15. But those are the starting lineups for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. Some great impact players off the bench for these sides too. And the front row, Nebelele from their under-20 campaign, successful one at that for the South African under-20 side. Grobela as the number 19. Also Ferreira there. Van Niekerk also to make his way off the bench. For the Bulls, for the Pumas, they have got Dennison, Maritz, they have got Sali and Kemper as their front row replacements for Shear, Fredericks, Pretorius, and then also Devin Blood. He had a very brief amount of time in that Springbok Sevens environment. From there, though, we didn't really see him get back in. So I haven't seen a lot of that man play rugby over the last couple of years. I don't know whether or not that was injury-based or maybe selection-based there. But I'm looking forward to seeing him once again running around out there on the field. We have got there, basically we need to decide by how much the Bulls will win by. See, as Albert, they do come in as heavy favourites for this contest. It is anticipated for them to win around 30 points. So it could be a one-sided game. But I do hope that the Pumas can be a little bit more competitive. Pumas not to be confused with Los Pumas, of course not. Airlink Pumas is the slightly longer name if you want to be a bit fancy. But of course that Los Pumas side in action next week up against none other than the All Blacks. Looking forward to the Bulls in the URC this season. Hopefully they'll keep injury to a minimum until then, says Jimbo. And that is the thing. These games are always extremely physical out there on the park. So injuries do happen. And unfortunately, they've been happening quite often throughout the opening 2 rounds of this competition. They just shown Jaco van der Walt warming up off the kicking tee. I'm curious to know what the kicking tee will look like for this Bulls side. Do you give it to Buta Chamberlain after some sensational kicking in last week's game, or does it go to Jaco van der Walt slotting in as that number 10? Los Pumas, the side that wears a Jaguar on their shirt, says it was there from I Lollipop. And we have got there, how's it, Hamish and our Yeroof, says Anthony, doing very well. Hello, peeps, says Aneki in there. And think the Bulls will run rough shot over the Pumas. I'm hoping for a good game. And Bulldozers to keep on bulldozing And Yucko has said, go Bulls. And there as well, I watched darts for the first time. It has been on quite a bit here in New Zealand. So I guess as your first initial reaction to it, Novmum, did you enjoy the darts? You have to admit, the atmosphere at the darts is always quite something to behold. Like, they do not hold back in the stands, that is for sure. But yeah, do let me know what you thought of it, whether or not you might watch it again. Top level darts is awesome, says iLollipop. I still think back to, I think it was a couple years ago, how there was, I don't even know how many 180s in a row, but it was between, I can't think of the names, unfortunately. I think one of them was actually Michael Van Gerwen, but the other fella was, is it that right? Is that his name? The young guy, Luke someone, maybe? But they went like 180, 180, 180, back to back to back. And then I think he finished off with a 9-darter because the other guy had missed his. I don't remember who was completely playing in that, but I still remember moments of it. Good afternoon, Ruth, says Jimbo. And yeah, it is great to have so many of you already tuning in. Mostly sunny for the conditions at Pretoria. 18 degrees the maximum temp with 8 degrees as the minimum. 10 kilometres of wind and a 0% chance of rain. We have got there darts, really, holy moly, or holy, what's the name of it? That is actually interesting, dude. So Africans need to do more of these sports, dude, says 420 Frosty. So yeah, it's just darts, but I think the competition at the moment's in Australia, I do want to say, and they seem to absolutely love their darts. They love most things that come to Australia when it comes to the sport. I kept expecting the MC to see Let's Get Ready to Rumble, says Novmum there. But yeah, Airlink Pumas for this Carling Currie Cup season. They are sitting 1-1. They need another victory here, but it is going to be so tough to do at Loftus. Do get your score predictions in. Let's see if anyone's given the Pumas a chance in this matchup, or whether or not we're going to see the onslaught continue for this Bulls side, because they have not missed a step throughout this season as of yet. We have got there, so there is no comp name I can look up. I could probably find you the name of it. I'm just going to look up darts competition on currently. Tournament calendar, what do we got? I have no idea what to do with this dart side of things. At the moment, oh no, I have no idea. There's a lot of sports going on in terms of the dart world by the looks of a lot of different competition. Yes, Luke, little one. Says Novmum there, and all hi Hamish. I reckon Pumas get close within 30. Says Studs Race. And Dunky says 420 in there. And how's that, Hamish? Craig from St. Francis Bay in Eastern Cape. Love your channel. Says greatly appreciated for you tuning in. Of course, this game, it is going to be an intriguing one. We've got plenty more Carling Currie Cup coming up in this round. PDC does the world champs. Maybe. I honestly don't know much about darts, but I know just enough to know how to play it, but not how to play it well. Darts and beer go hand in hand. You'll find a dartboard whenever you find beer, or wherever you find beer, says Jimbo, which is always an interesting combo, isn't it? Because darts are sharp, and people who have had alcohol sometimes are not. So it can be a dangerous pairing, I will say. But both of these sides making their way out of the tunnel now, ready to go for this match taking place at Loftus, with the host of a few internationals throughout the next couple of years. Nassim Carr's on the phone as he made his way out of the tunnel. Now, he's not playing in this game. He actually had his arm in a sling. But it seemed like a weird time to be getting a phone call, unless that was one of the coaches. Came here for rugby, staying for the darts. Says 420. Zagberger making his way out onto the field with that ball in hand. Not many changes across this Bulls side, as you don't really need to when you dominate. In your last game, their match up against the Sharks was absolutely insane with the winning margin. We have got there how big of a win for the Bulls. I'm hoping, someone mentioned less than 30. I hope for that as well. Like, less than 25 is honestly a massive win for the Pumas. And I know that sounds almost a little bit like condescending and slightly like a bit rough on the Pumas side, but they are going into this game expected to get smashed. Let's say it how it is. But if they don't, I would consider that a big win for them. Burgers and chips, please, says Ruth. We also got to remember, a bonus point here for the Pumas. Even if you're going to concede 10 tries in this match, score yourself 4. Because if you do get yourself 4 tries, you get that bonus point. Huge win for the Bulls coming up, says Jimbo. Any rando sports you've considered commentating? E.g. darts. A little bit. I've looked at the UFC side of things quite a bit. You know, I'm tempted to do that Dracus du Plessis versus Hamzat Chimaev fight just because I do watch UFC quite a bit. Just not on the stream, normally because of the fact that we are sleeping during the time that the fights are live. But, you know, I've considered that. I considered football for a little bit, but then I also found myself struggling to watch the lower scoring games without going, I could watch something else, which sounds bad, but it's true. Cricket, we've done a little bit of in the past. I've been asked to do beach volleyball, but I know exactly why people want to see that. And I can tell you right now, there'd be a lot of angry people tuning into that stream who realise that I'm talking rather than showing it. But it's kicked off now by the Bulls, and we are underway for another match of this Currie Cup season that has been progressing very nicely. If you are a fan of this Bulls side, how you doing, bro? High or low scoring today? I think it's going to be higher scoring for one of these teams. There's one unpredictable one in this equation, though. Now the Pumas getting ready to kick this one downfield. It will be Ross Brodia, starting in that 9 jersey, and does manage to exit. Gets it about 40 metres out from the line when the Bulls pack get fired up. They'd rank in top 10 in the world. Says Jimbo, and this current Western Province side is probably the worst side I've ever seen, and I'm not a sore loser, says Morne Lagrange, but the slightly unfortunate thing for the Western Province, or I guess it's kind of fortunate in some regards, is people have said the same thing about the Sharks at the moment. So they're going hand in hand for a rough season. Nice hands from Yandre Rudolph. That man has a bright future, but that's going to be knocked on by the Bulls, which does mean that the Pumas will have themselves the first scrum of this contest. We have to get one more vote for beach volleyball, says Studs Race. But what do you describe in beach volleyball? Like, I can name maybe 2 or so moves. The spike and the other one. We had to play it in school, but it wasn't on the beach. There was a sand pit, though. But, yeah, I don't... The spike and the something. What's the bump up when you're just hitting it up in the air? A parry? Is it a parry? Bulls by 10, says Birdie V. And how's it, Hamish, brother? How you doing, mate? Here, no worries. Says Birdie V. So, yeah, it is good to hear that you're doing well. I am, for some reason, extremely full of energy at the moment. I am in a very talkative mood, which bodes well because we've got 4 hours worth of talking coming up here, but currently 2 minutes into this contest. Nil all between these two sides, and the Pumas, they will have themselves the first scrum feed of the day. A little bit of an early push from Yannicka there on the far side from the referee. Now going off to the left-hand side, they are going to attempt to try and use this back line, although no pass coming in from Visaki. And okay, great, Bulls by 25, says Ruth. Now skip past there. There are 2 Smiths in the midfield here for the Bulls, but for now they're going to have to attack, or defend, as the Pumas get the ball moving out wide. Chance here to link up with a dangerous number 14, Stefan Kutzia, who has slipped over, and that looks like it could be the chance for the steal for the Bulls. Yes, it is. Awesome stuff, mate, says Birdie V. And Pumas might just give a shock, says Ruth. Yeah, see, that's the thing. The Pumas, they are expected to lose this game by a lot, like we've mentioned many times. But then that can also be the motivation that all of a sudden, you know, they just find that footing underneath them and create a chance to just get into the game a little bit more. Yes, women's volleyball. I'm a league guy too, and he is at home taking her dresses up, getting ready for summer. Says Bruce there. But yeah, I'm intrigued to know if this Pumas side is going to find a way to stay intact. But it is going to be the line-out throw here, nicely taken by Juan Else. Now, trying to get this one moving forward. The Sharks are the defending champions. They are dead. Last, it isn't all doom and gloom for the province. Says Mornay, that is true. To go from the defending champ to having a minus 100 points differential after just 2 of the days. We have got there, MMA might be tricky to commentate when they're grappling. Lots of people haven't got a clue about what's going on the ground. Says Suds Race, yeah, it would be a relatively tricky one to describe. Like, I could probably get my way through it. I know the different positions in the grappling side of things. But yeah, if it's anything based off what you hear anytime the crowd watch someone take someone down and they just boo, like some of them don't realize that they're doing the little things to set up their submissions or set up the ground and pound. But some people just want to see stand and bang. Hamish, thanks. No women's volleyball, just mud wrestling. With hot Mexican long hair guys. Is that even a league that is in the world? Now it's going to be kicked high by Ross Brodia. Oh, gone back off the ball, so it will be now play on. Nicely taken down the auntie there. Oh, in fact, there's a last-minute change. That might actually be for Diante, who's no longer out on that wing. Little kick in behind, attempted by the Bulls. Awkward bouncing ball. Cleaned up now by Swanepoel. Bulls need a good start here, absolutely. And I think that the Pumas will feel the same way. They need to start this match like they expect to go on. And, you know, they have to get something flowing right from the get-go, because if they don't, they're in trouble. And the more time that the Bulls have the ball, you know, it's going to be very difficult. Remind me again who the Sharks are playing next, please, somebody, says Bruce. So the next game for the Sharks, I'll get it up here in a very short moment, but it's going to be nicely claimed here by the Bulls. Next game for the Sharks, they are going head-to-head with the Cheetahs, and that is actually in a couple hours' time. We are going to be covering that game on the channel, and then next week, they are going to be playing up against the Griquas. Now, to the right-hand side, Zach Berger. A good game last week. Same with Bota Chamberlain. Those two working nicely together. Big Fen coming in from Chris Smith. Although ball's going to be dropped now. Picked up by the Pumas and Sharks in the Western Province. Really struggling, so bad shame. Says Roof. Yeah, it's a bit unique, isn't it, to see two great sides down the bottom. Definitely after, like we said, the Sharks got themselves that massive accomplishment of winning the Currie Cup last year. Now, they did win it in the jaws of defeat, pardon the pun, because it did seem like they were not going to be able to get that one. The Lions giving it up. And some would even say gifting the Sharks that Currie Cup competition. Kick downfield, not finding touch with it, of course. With the altitude, you get some good distance on the ball. Kicked high again by the Bulls, who will be chasing after this one, trying to get it. And Visachi has done beautifully under pressure. Ball in the hands of the Pumas once more. How many tries first half, mate? No idea, to be honest. It depends on how much the Bulls have the ball. We have good there. Thought it was the Cheetahs. Hope Cheetahs win it. I think they will. Here's Bruce. And Jaws of Defeat, you brilliant, Amish. Here's Ruth. And they're being rolled back again for Ross Brodia. This one round the halfway line. Slapped back with a solid hand there from the Pumas. And now Swanepoel, he did slip over a little bit, but a very big kick. Was it inside? Oh, it was taken back. That is a brutal one for this Pumas side, as they will now give up a good 50 metres of territory. Come on, the Bulls. Let's show the Stormers how rugby is being really played. Says Christo. Yeah, the Bulls have been insane throughout the season, haven't they? Like, just the two games so far. Yandre Rudolph in that number 8 jersey is crazy good at the moment at Carling Currie Cup level, and I hope he does get the opportunity in the URC as well. Does it snow where you live? Not normally, although there is quite a bit of snow in New Zealand at the moment. In fact, a few hours down south, I think they are having snow, but now that one's going to be stolen by the Pumas at line-out time. So a massive one there for them. Relieves that little bit of pressure. But yeah, we have got snow like up on the hills, but not directly where I live. Like, you'd have to go up an altitude to be able to find some. The Stormers' very first match in the URC is against Leinster. Luckily, the Stormers are playing at home. It's still a rough start. Yeah, it's not exactly going to be an easy one. I know that a game that a lot of people are excited for is that Sharks-Munster rematch. Of course, there was a bit of tension there last year, or this year, in fact. So it will be very intriguing to see what the build-up is like for that one. Steven Spielberg, E.T. and Jaws, his biggest blockbusters. I actually haven't seen either of them, believe it or not. Now, going to be thrown in, nicely taken by the Bulls. On off to the right-hand side, finds Chris Smith. In fact, it might be Van Niekerk. They may have had another late change. Although I know that Van Niekerk is actually starting at 12 for the Pumas. Has he got it round the wrong way, or is there another late change that we see here for the Bulls? Because I thought it was actually Chris Smith in that number 12 jersey. We have got there, it's in my notifications. The next game got confused with quotes I've been sending off. And a high ground snow on the Saderberg Mountains. It's icy here, says Ruth. Yeah, see, it's not exactly warm here. We're 4 degrees Celsius, which is almost the warmest it's been overnight for a while. Kind of movies do they show in New Zealand? They show the normal ones that the overseas they have too. Like, we have movie theatres just like the rest of the world. Oh, front rows 321 kgs, identical. The locking advantage of 23 kgs for the Bulls, and then the Pumas a 2 kg advantage with their back three or their loose forwards to the pack weight. Just the 19 kgs difference in favour of the Bulls, but a big push here coming from the Pumas, who have been told to use it at scrum time just inside of their own 22. So Visahi will kick it low and fast. Big wide slinging pass to the left-hand side. Now in the hands of the Bulls and managing to dodge there nicely. The young number 11. Van Niekerk in English, it means from no church. Translation. Oh, nice break and run from Jaco van der Walt with the pass on the inside, but goes straight to a Pumas player. We have got there, Leinster will be without all their top players, so the Stormers have opportunity to take 5 points. Says Jimbo. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll be missing some of those top dogs. Yeah, intriguing battle at the start. Hate Steven Spielberg. Real one was executed for crimes against humanity. We have got there Bruce. Is it fun to have a YouTube channel, says Rajan? Depends on what you're doing. Like, I enjoy having it. I would say that if I was doing it as a career, it would be extremely stressful. But because we do it as a hobby rather than a full-time gig, it makes it a lot less like of a sitting there for hours on end trying to work out how to make it work. Like at the end of the day, we do the commentary, we have a video or two go out per week, and it's a lot of fun. But for some people, it can be extremely stressful. But luckily, we're not one of them. And Bulls making meters. Pumas defense going to be busy, says Studs Race. Yeah, I'm expecting about, I would say, 150 tackles for the Pumas throughout this whole game. Now off to the right-hand side, Marvin Ori doesn't decide to get that offload away to Jaco van der Walt, but now Zach Berger saw the opportunity to snipe through the side, skip pass on the outside, and it's put down by Andre Rudolph. He actually thought he was getting the pass initially, but it did end up clipping his teammate's hand and throwing him off that little bit. We have got there the best movie you ever seen. Ooh, I don't actually know. Like, I don't think I've had a huge amount of movies that I've watched and I've been like, I feel very different now. Or like, you know, like I don't mind a good comedy. But I wouldn't say it's like, normally when you say a comedy's your favorite movie, people go, oh, so you don't like movies. Like, you're only a basic movie watcher, which I actually really am in this scenario. We have got there, what do you do as work, except this? Just curious, says Rajan. So I do work as a labourer / builder during the week, believe it or not. So it's been pretty chilly as of late. Looks like they're going upstairs for something here. Is that for Willie Engelbrecht trying to get that interception? He did try and stick his hand out and get a bit of a touch on the ball. Not very successfully. There goes a new poll. You can have over and under on tackles. I'll go Pumas 170 plus, says Studs Race. That would be a lot. And that's the thing. Like, we saw Canterbury make 104, I think it was, throughout the first half. In fact, it might have even been 108 in the Bunnings NPC up against Auckland. They were extremely busy. The Bulls, at this stage, they've had some decent attacking time, but the Pumas have had a bit of the ball too. To watch your best comedy movie. Or, you know, they're just checking to see whether or not Willie Engelbrecht got half a touch on that ball. Because if he did, then it's going to be a deliberate knockdown. You know, I probably couldn't name a favourite comedy movie. I did watch Happy Gilmore a lot as a child, which doesn't explain too much, I guess. But, you know, a bit of something light. You know, nothing too serious. Grown Ups is always a decent one too if you're looking at Adam Sandler. We have got the Ace Ventura. See, I've watched quite a few Jim Carrey movies, but I haven't really watched Ace Ventura too much. I don't think. Like, because there's about 2 or 3, isn't there? Okay, we're still checking this. Bulls the best team in South Africa. At the moment, it is hard to argue. Like, they have been in some sensational form for this Carling Currie Cup competition. Engelbrecht, tough guys. What do they average player weight? I'd say that Engelbrecht, he wouldn't be anything less than 105, I guess, for that man. Are you a huge Adam Sandler fan? Not necessarily. Like, I have watched Adam Sandler movies, but I think I'm more so just like, I don't really like horror movies. I'm not really one to watch any of those like old school like documentary style, so comedy's pretty much all I got left. Action, I don't watch a huge amount, so it's more so that when you're looking at comedy movies and you're looking for something to watch, he's one of the guys who are there quite a lot. Hello, how are we doing? Says Sebastian, doing very well. Seb, hopefully you are doing well too. Hope you enjoyed the cameo from George. Jeepers, big and meaty, Hamish. Says Ruth, you said it, not me. Ace Ventura, probably peak Jim Carrey film. And also Hamish is a builder. That's why I quickly understood the half a bubble out of Plum joke earlier, says Bruce. And on at the museum, I actually do really like that movie. I always used to find it intriguing how they were so small. But another mistake made here for the Pumas. It's 21 degrees in Francis Bay. We're going to see it now. It's just a rough pass going a little bit too low for Van Niekerk to be able to clean up. And yeah, he's not happy about it. We have there also the Bulls 40 to the Pumas 25 as Patrick's prediction. In that regard, thought the Bulls would score already. War films, they're hard-hitting and you actually learn some history from them. See, Sebastian, Dumb and Dumber. I do like Dumb and Dumber. I probably watched Dumb and Dumber and Happy Gilmore. Those were my two kind of mid-teen comedy movies that I would have watched. I've watched Happy Gilmore in quite a few different languages, like at least one scene in it. I don't know why, but there you go. Mr. Bean used to go hard. I just saw Bath versus Munster in Cork next month, in Cork pre-season. I might go if I'm not working as steward for it, says Patrick. You see, sometimes the pre-season ones are very entertaining. You got to watch Ace Ventura then. Whereabouts is it? Is it on Netflix? Because I feel like if it was at the time that I was looking for something to watch, I probably would have watched it, but I don't think it was there. Is it on like some sort of thing other than like a DVD? Now ready to feed this ball in. It will be the Bulls scrum here. And Bulls made about 8 changes playing with D team today. Well, I don't know if I call them the D team. That scrum, though, has not quite gone right for the Bulls, and that is going to now give the penalty to the Pumas. I mean, you look through at the side, though. Zach Berger, Buta Chamberlain, Pokomela, JJ Theron, big opportunity for him. We saw Nassim Carr with his sling as he made his way out of the tunnel. Yandre Rudolph, he's looking like player of the year already. This one's going to be kicked into touch, or at least attempted to, for Vasaki. It does go out in about, I'd say, 25 metres from the line now. We're going to get to see the Pumas line out. They are not down in points yet, and we've had 15 minutes. I know that, once again, sounds a little bit rough, but I'm honestly impressed with what we've seen from the Pumas so far. They haven't easily conceded like you would expect a team who were massive underdogs to do. Now thrown in, nicely taken here, Pumas with the rolling maul. Doesn't seem like it's really going anywhere as of yet, so they have been told to use it now. A bit of a snooze fest, this one. I would disagree. I think that just because it's a little bit lower scoring doesn't mean that it is a boring game. I think, if anything, the fact that it is closer for the Pumas actually makes it that little bit more entertaining. Then, I prefer a game like this than a game that's already 28-0 to one team, which is what people thought this may have been for the Bulls. And due to South African Classic, go watch, look up Mad Buddies. It's funny, says 420. I assume it is in English rather than Afrikaans, right? I mean, subtitles still can do a lot for a movie, though. I've still seen some pretty funny ones that I didn't understand a single word of. We have got there Jim Carrey, another one that's been, I don't know what that word means. And yes, indeed, says 420. And also we have got there your 3 favourite cuisines. Penalty goes the way of the Bulls, I should also mention. So Jaco van der Walt will be able to kick it towards the sideline. Ooh, cuisines, eh? See, that's the thing. I like pizza, so does that mean that has to count as Italian? I feel like Italian's a good shout because you've also got pasta. Pasta goes all right. So I'll probably go, Jaco van der Walt looked like he almost did his knee when trying to kick that one into touch. But yeah, I'll go Italian. I do like myself a chicken fried rice. And I think that counts as Chinese, doesn't it? Or at least most like kind of Chinese takeaway places near us do have chicken fried rice. So I would go with chicken fried rice, well, Chinese. And then I don't mind a buttered chicken, so maybe Indian as the third choice, but that's the only, like, or maybe a bit of chicken pakora, but other than that, I'm literally so basic with what I have. Chinese fried rice, and agreed, rather than arm wrestle. And the first half, second half can stay close or break open for them, or from the SCS starts race. Yeah, like if it ends up being one-sided in the second, that wasn't the straightest throw, but they didn't jump up for it for the Pumas. Now trying to get this one rolling that little bit further towards the Pumas line. Zagburger told to use it, goes off to Andre Rudolph. That man showed off his speed last week. And he's driven backwards now by the Pumas, who try and turn it into a rolling maul. Did the ref say it was one? Yes, he did. Thought that the knee initially might have been down for Andre Rudolph. But still 18 minutes through and we are scoreless in this game, ladies and gentlemen. A great bit of effort coming from this Pumas side. The Bulls, I wouldn't say that they've looked too bad either from what we've seen in this first little while. It just seems like the Pumas have got that early hunger to try and do a little bit better. And I see rugby again. Was in London last night watching Chelsea versus Bayer Leverkusen. Match tickets free and €40 for flights. Flew back this morning. Drinking duty-free vodka, says Patrick there. That's pretty cheap, isn't it? Or at least the free part of it. And €40 for a flight sounds all right too, depending on how long the flight was. We have got there what room are a ghost scared of? The living room, says Kiwi Gamer, coming in with a dad joke right off the bat. And the Bulls doesn't have their own way. It really shows how bad the Sharks really are, says Mornay. Now backline movement here for the Pumas. Pass goes close to forward. But it is claimed now for Stefan Kurtzia. He goes through. He's got plenty of pace, but he'll be dragged down just 10 metres out from the Bulls line, looking for the steal and the breakdown. Not able to get an advantage now for offside against Andre Rudolph, or at least I believe it was actually playing the 9 that he gets penalised for. Back across here to the left-hand side, finding Fasanti in that number 6 jersey. Can they score first in this game? The Pumas, Yannicka gets a bit closer, 2 metres out from the try line. Now looking left here for the Pumas. Nice little shovel on. Bit of a step from Stefan Kurtzia. The Bulls, they are in a little bit of trouble. Oh, that was a bad kicking option. Oh, was it? Tell you what, the bounce of the ball was a little bit rough. Almost led to the opportunity for the Pumas to strike. You taught me a lot about accepting getting older and succeeding through selflessness. Geez, that sounds very deep. Cool story. I don't know whether or not I've taught you that. Maybe that's been taught to you just from life in general. I would say that I wouldn't say that I'm very accepting of getting older. Well, I think it's just because I feel old anyway. And I know that I'm not as old as some people, but I think just from sitting here for so long, my back's starting to get a bit older too. Pumas are doing great at stalling, says Gareth. That's the thing. It does seem like it's just a matter of time, doesn't it? But for now, they're doing all right. Famous beer in New Zealand. You got, a Spates is quite a common one over here, or a double brown. Normally all of the slightly more farm-orientated individuals with mullets would drink a double brown because it's one of the cheaper ones around. But you got Spates, you got Tui, DB, Export Gold, those kind of 4, I would say. I was going to watch Wednesday on Netflix later. See, I haven't seen the first season, but there's now a second season, isn't there? Or is there? Is it second season's announced? That kick has gone over. The Pumas lead after 21 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. They are off to it's not a flyer, but it's off to a much better start than some thought. Now, I will mention that might just make the Bull a little bit more angry, and they may soon concede. Kung Pao into the fist, a great spoof comedy, says Graham. Heard Tui is a great summer beer, the type you just enjoy in the garden on a hot day, says Sebastian. Oh, big shot coming in there in the breakdown, but the Pumas are in possession again. Right off, guys. He's got nothing to lose at your own peril, says Robin. Exactly right. Like, they are showing at the moment. They know that they're underdogs, first of all, and they want to say, listen, maybe you should keep an eye on us for the season. Here comes Andre Rudolph, though. Good attack and run from the big man at 8. And damn, Hamish, your local beer knowledge is on point, says Wemmar. Yeah, see, I think that came from... Where did that come from? I think it was the cricket club when I was a lot younger. Seeing everyone drinking their beverages after the games. Like, I was probably like 5 or 6. So I just went, okay, those are the types. Was your sleep good throughout the week or was it bad? It's been all right. I don't think I've had too many crazy late nights throughout this week that I can think of, although I was up till 7 a.m. on one day. I don't know why. Anyone got a red cloth to wave in front of the Bulls, says Robin. You see, we debunked a myth earlier on the Bunnings NBC stream that ostriches don't put their head underground. Not like the saying goes. But I also learned on one of these other live streams that bulls are actually colourblind and can't see red. So it could be any kind of cloth, and the movement for the Bulls might get them going. But that is going to be another penalty going the way of the Pumas. We have got there, Hamish, take note please. I used to be in agony with a sore lower back, water skiing on rough water. Do a search on strengthening pelvic floor. Worked well for me and others. Says Bruce, and Bulls are colourblind, says Jimbo, and I missed you yesterday, Hamish. Rolled down a hill. I did. I slipped down it. Well, I think slipping is the better way of putting it rather than rolled. Because rolled makes it sound like there was more than one. But, yeah, did slip down a hill trying to play golf. Not a good move from myself. I think I probably shot about a 10 on that hole too. Penalties conceded 4 against the Bulls in the early stages of this matchup. Definitely not what they would have been after. Nicely taken there, and it wasn't. Wait, I heard the whistle blow there from the ref, I thought. But it is going to be play on. Rolling maul here for the Pumas. I almost called them Lost Pumas there. Now still moving forward. Off to the right-hand side. Attack and run from Van Niekerk. This is like they're linking up not too bad. Schwicker's there in their number 3 jersey. Yannicka been busy so far throughout this contest. Had some good meters made throughout the 22. Oh, I thought their hands might have been down for Jandre Rudolph, but it was actually the foot or the hands going down of Fasanti first, who went in off his feet. That caused the penalty. We have got there, Hamish, you're great in my book, says Danielle. Thank you very much. Which beer is the best for bowling and which one enhances, for batting and which one enhances your bowling? See, normally they had to drink afterwards, although Twilight Cricket is something that I did take part in last year, and a lot of people were drinking the double browns for that. But once again, I think that was just because it was cheaper than buying the kind of fancier beer. We have got there, Hamish didn't completely say no to joining my family. I did ask how old your auntie was because you were trying to set me up with her, but you didn't tell me. So I could be getting myself into some trouble here. And she could be any age between, I would like to think, between 30 and 60. And Aussies versus Springboks, where'd that go? It disappeared. Who do you think is going to take it? And if the Aussies, you have a guess how or what they will do, I think that Australia will be more competitive than some think. But I do think South Africa should win both. Now, backline movement here. Past our wide for the Pumas. Little step coming in now from Tino Swanepoel. Our ball is an idiot, but I always keep a gate between him and me. Says Jimbo. Yeah, see, they're one of those ones that you can think it's your best friend or it likes you, but then all of a sudden it will just go, you know what? I don't like what you're wearing today. You're going down. Oh, another penalty goes the way of the Bulls. And that is going to be for Yannicka's technique coming in through the side there in the breakdown. And debating to go to Scotland or England for the 40 match. Either Celtic or Man United. And the next couple of months, says Patrick. We have got there, just got back from the tattoo parlor. Got 3 more added to my collection. You got 3 tattoos in one go. What are the tattoos? That would be... I guess you've got a pretty skilled tattoo artist then, if they can just go 3 different pictures, boom, boom, boom. I guess that's what all tattoo artists do, though, isn't it? We reckon there, seriously, the Bulls were projected for 50 points pre-game. They were. They were expected to win this game by 30 plus. And at the moment, the Pumas are somehow leading 3-0 after 27 minutes. Like, it's only a matter of time, I believe, until we see the Bulls score once. But the Pumas have made it difficult for them. Now ready to throw this one in. Nicely taken at the front by Marvin O'Ree. Now Junior Pokomela. Ball dropped by Andre Rudolph. And it will be now another time where the Pumas have themselves a scrum. And hi all, good to see you again, Hamish. It is great to have you here, Wild Lobster. You are doing very well. And also, he's passive, but heavy enough to crush you flat, says Jimbo. And we'll be going back to the Gold Coast for the V8s. Got 3 spooky kitties on the right leg, each in a different position. Spooky kitties. So, is that like a cartoon or like spooky kitties? Is that a show or something, or is it literally just spooky looking cats? Do they have little like witches hats and whatnot? How many handling errors from the Bulls? I think it's got to be up to about 6 so far throughout the first 27 minutes. They have been far from their best in terms of the handling. But they also, they gave away, I think it's 4 or 5 penalties throughout the early stages of this match too. So they are not playing like a side that have the points differential they do. One moment, we'll go like this, and we'll go like that. That is the way that the table sits. You are reading that right. 89 in their favour for their points differential, but we are yet to see a single point in this matchup. The Pumas, they are pretty close to 50-50 in terms of points scored versus points against, sitting there with the 4 differential, having 1 win, 1 loss. But, this is interesting, I think, to say the least. The fact that it was expected to be so one-sided, yes, there's still time, and I don't want to jinx them because 50 minutes is a long time to play rugby for, definitely if you are just trying to survive. Hamish's first tattoo has to be TKO. Any tattoos? I have no tattoos, only because I'm too indecisive. I'd pretty much get to the tattoo parlor, say, oh, I know what I want, and then straight away afterwards go, actually, no, I don't know what I want, and switch my mind completely. But now, no tries as of yet in this one, but 64 of those points were against the toothless one, says Jimbo. That is true. Yeah, the Sharks just did not turn up for that game, unfortunately. The Pumas have got the possession now, and they get themselves a penalty at scrum time. Now, that is a pretty substantial moment because that is now, I believe, 3 or 4 times that we have seen the penalty actually go against the Bulls in their scrum. And we'll be able to kick this one towards the sideline for Visaki. Hamish, did you always have the internet? I only got it at 18. I don't know if I always had it. Or at least I think when I was a bit younger, probably like maybe 7 or so was when the internet was really starting to kick off. And that was probably about when we ended up with a computer. Or a PC as the kids call it now. Remember Harold Foster? I certainly do. Where is he at the moment? Is he injured or is he just not in the side? Oh, Yandre Rudolph manages to get the steal there for the Bulls. He is trying to get into everything throughout this game. He's had a couple handling errors already, but now big attack and run forward from Smith in that 13 jersey. What do you do when you slept? Or what did you do when you slept at 7 a.m.? I was probably watching sport up until it. Now nicely attacking forward here for the Bulls. They are sitting 35 metres out. Zach Berger going off to the left-hand side. One more pass there is needed, and they'll get there, the Bulls. The first try and on debut for the Bulls. Initially, it was going to be Dianti out on that side, but a couple late changes for the Bulls brought a couple new opportunities. We'll go like this. We will quickly update the score, but it is going to be Riyad Bum who does score the try out there on the wing, which gives the Bulls now the lead. Seemed like it was only a matter of time before they did strike, but how many times now can they continue to score? Okay, there we go. Try there, Chantal. Go the Bulls. 27 minutes and only 3 points on the board. That is correct, yeah. Hamish also don't use caffeine or watch movies. It's also rumored he loves ice cream and chips, says Albert there. And that try was worth the wait, says Studs Race. Yeah, really nice finish from a youngster bum who was on debut. And the Bulls just fixed that, says Patrick. Now, Mbuta Chamberlain. A very good day after kicking tee last week, and this week it looks like it will be no different, making the score now 7-3 in favour of the Bulls. Sounds like a tough time, says 420. And we have got birds and a waiting for food. Catch up later. That's a fancy word that I didn't even attempt to say. Minagari, maybe? Any ghost story to tell, says Rajan. Not really, to be honest. Like me and George, we ended up a while ago, it was on a different channel, but we were reacting to like spooky footage. So we got ourselves one of those little readers that like do that lighting up and whatnot. And it did go off a few times in the room that we were filming in, but no, I wouldn't think much of it. How you watching this, Patrick says, Jimbo? Oh, I did get asked earlier on how I'm watching this. I am watching on Sky Sport 4 here in New Zealand. I didn't even have a calculator when I was young. People used a slide rule. And also, me Nigerian, it's about time the Bulls score in their first try, says Morna. Yeah, it did take more time than anticipated, but they got there in the end, which I think is the main thing for this Bulls side. Yes, their confidence, like I do see at the moment, they are still heavy favourites, as you would expect, but yeah, maybe not quite as heavily one-sided, like 4 points difference is... Said him very nicely, just watching Hamish. It's not on Sky. Says Patrick there. Yeah, see, Sky New Zealand seems to be a little bit different to Sky UK, doesn't it? In terms of what they do show. Zach Berger about to put this ball in. However, there, Sky Sports Ireland don't have it, but we'll have the Sharks game. You got Reaction Channel as well. What's the name? We did have a Reaction Channel. Now it no longer is active. 8 minutes left in this first half. The Bulls scrum has been struggling big time here. And it just seems like it's in the front row. I want to say it's on Dylan Smith's side a majority of the time, up against Swickers in the front. Yannicka going up against John Erasmus. On that side, it does seem like it is proving to be difficult as well. But it's going to be another try before halftime for this Bulls side. If they can get this scrum going and sort out a couple little issues there, I think that they'll have a lot more of a dominant second half. But the Pumas, if they can score before halftime, would be absolutely huge for their confidence in this game. The ball's going to be fed in. Zach Berger, looking both ways, decides to go off to the right-hand side now. Jaco van der Walt, skip pass to, I believe that was Letebele. We've hardly seen him with ball in hand. He's got a bit too much on that kick, and it may just go dead. No, it's going to sit up inside of the in-goal area. Darren Adonis does kick it downfield and does find the touchline. My friend saying Hamish should work for Sky, says Patrick there. Yeah, well, I think I get far too distracted for being able to work as an actual commentator. Like, I go off on random tangents. We've seen it already throughout this one about the colourblind Bulls and all sorts. And the ostriches not actually burying their head in sand. Now ready to throw this one in for Juan Else. Nicely taken, and now 20 metres out from the line. This is where the Bulls are dangerous, although this one is not moving. In fact, it doesn't even look like the Bulls are attempting to crawl this one forward. Maybe that is down to the strong Pumas defence, or maybe that is just because they wanted to set up this next backline move. Jaco van der Walt does crash it forward. Now, big shot coming in on Else. Zach Berger, skip pass going to the left-hand side. Buta Chamberlain, nice pass there, but it was actually just slightly forward. And we have there who is the one potential non-Springbok on this Bulls team. Honestly, last week I thought it was Jandre Rudolph. From the way that he's played this week, though, I think he's almost taken that back away. Buta Chamberlain's looked solid at number 15, even though he just had a forward pass in that scenario. JJ Theron, perhaps in the future, of course, still a lot more years before he gets there, like at least, I'd say, next World Cup-ish, as in 2031. But, you know, there's a few guys out there that could make that burst towards it. We can't wait for the Rugby Championship to start next weekend. It feels like it's come around far too quick in a way, doesn't it? Like, it seemed like 3 months until the Rugby Championship. That only felt like 3 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden it's here, which means we're going to be very busy over the next kind of couple months or so. Rudolph's been knocking on Dead Man's door for years now. Seeing his Wenma. And also we have got the, I used my sister's password to stream DSTV to you on my laptop. But just noticed the stream channel list disappeared, some channels, and changed them up randomly. So here's Albert. And now the big push there from the Pumas. They get themselves another scrum advantage. I think the Bulls at the start of the second half, all nice charge down from the Bulls, but they will go back for that penalty. Excited for next Saturday's game. So here's Chantel. And of course, we are going to be covering that Rugby Championship on the channel. So anyone who is new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But at the moment, this game is not going the way that many thought that it would, which I think is a good thing. A good rival, Man United. fan, says Patrick. But now, that one's going to be kicked into touch around the halfway line. Already 36 minutes through. I always find with a close game that the time just flies. I'm currently getting close to that halftime break. Puma scrum dominance was not on my bingo card. Yeah, I don't think anyone was anticipating seeing this Pumas side be able to push as well as they currently are. Now thrown in. On over the top for the Pumas, a little bit loose and picked up there. Nice take from Van Niekerk. And it's just to get over the top of the attempt. The tackle from was Bomb, but now passed on the outside. In fact, going for the cross kick. Darren Adonis in touch. Weak first half, says Chantel. Everybody's talking about the Eden Park clash, especially in New Zealand. Says Monet Lagrange. Are you saying, like, especially with it being in New Zealand or just in New Zealand in general? Because honestly, I'm from New Zealand. I haven't heard that much about it as of yet. I think that first of all, people are looking at Argentina. But, yeah, it will be intriguing to see how both sides do sit heading into that rugby championship fixture. Yeah, just a bit of a rough slip there for the youngster who did score the try. Honestly, Pumas were projected at around 21 points. They deceive to offensively. Yeah, even in the games where they lose, they still score quite a few tries, the Pumas. And I think that will help them in the overall standings. Willie Engelbrecht taking that line out. I've seen a huge amount of him throughout the first time of this game, but they'll break off the back, the Pumas, and they will score now to take the lead in this contest. 37 minutes in, but it will be the hooker, Edouard Swart, who does score it, and there is a big smile on his face. 38 minutes through a first half that has been anything but predictable. Just talking about that defensive driving maul, but where did he come from in this case? He just breaks through the sight. They say he camouflaged himself. It's because he got his jersey pulled over his head. They probably didn't anticipate him to try and pick and go. And let's go the Pumas, says Lilia B. We have there, to be fair, Justin Marshall can't stop talking about Eden Park clash. To be fair, Justin Marshall doesn't really speak for most New Zealanders, though. That one has gone over, making the score now 10 points to 7. Just like that, there we go. We have there, New Zealand playing at home or travelling to Argentina. First game, 2 games in Argentina for the start of the Rugby Championship. Pumas are showing up, says Chantel. Do you think Argentina can cause an upset against the All Blacks in Argentina? I wouldn't put it past them. Argentina last year beat every side in the Rugby Championship, whether or not people like to admit it. They did have 3 wins, 3 losses, and included in that was one of their biggest wins over Australia. In fact, their biggest win up against Australia in history. So they're a side that lack consistency, but when they get it right, boy, do they go. It's kicked downfield, great touch finder. But the Bulls decide to take this one quickly. Jandre Rudolph goes to Jaco van der Vault, who will look for the 50-22, but the Pumas are back to be able to cover. What's he taken? Ball is still alive. They'll go again here, the Bulls. So it seems like they want to keep this ball alive and try and find a way through. Now backline movement. Off to the left-hand side. Bomb will kick it downfield. You'd imagine the Bulls will turn up in the second half. You'd have to. Because, you know, if they don't, they are actually, I don't want to jinx it, but they are actually in that slight risk of, like, the Bulls could lose this game if they're not careful with the way that the Pumas have started. The Pumas have shown enough on attack to say that they are good enough to score at least a few tries. There's really a lack of hype for rugby in New Zealand at the moment, says Studs Race. And the Box will win the next Rugby World Cup, says Chantel. And also can't wait for Australia versus the Box to measure just how good Australia are now. See, I wouldn't get too many hopes up about Australia being good, because just a little bit like Argentina, they can go from looking like they know what they're doing to being completely off the next day. I think England have a shout for the next World Cup. Obviously, South Africa will be favourites, though. Says David. Yeah, that World Cup is getting closer. The draw is going to be happening in only around 4 months' time to work out who is in each group. Of course, an expanded Rugby World Cup competition this year, or at least in 2027, drawn this year. Just the 20 seconds remaining in this first half of rugby, where the Pumas do lead by 3. Is it true Richie Mo'unga coming back to New Zealand? In 2026 he is, yes. but he won't be eligible to play for the ABs till around November. And also alongside that, he won't be eligible to play in Super Rugby till 2027. So he is going to be back, but it is just because his contract's ending in Japan. Was the conversion missed by the Pumas? No, they did get it over. The scoreboard was just a little bit slow, but now the back line of the Bulls trying to get this one going out to the winger. Letebele going to be tackled well. The Bulls, though, can they get the lead? Oh, that's going to be dropped. Pumas try and boot that one into touch. They will do just that. And that is now halftime in this contest. The Pumas leading 10 points to 7. I've said they're a frustrating first half for this Bulls side. It has been far from their best. They've been dominated at scrum time, which is something I did not think I would be saying. I've once again put full time. One moment. We'll go like this. And we will go like that as well. There we go, half-time in this fixture. But the one try apiece in this match. We have got the hours, the conversion missed. Oh no, I read that one. And 700 and something days until the Rugby World Cup 2027 kicks off. Have you seen our box debutants? Rassi's got it going on. Pede, Klakani, train up Lebok and Sasha a bit more. Got some great talent. Vusi Moyo, says Chantel. And also the Bulls need back to what they do best, says Jimbo and Vamos Pumas. The thing is, though, this Bulls side have potential of just coming out second half firing and still winning this game by 30 points. Like, there's no denying they have that ability. But are they going to do it in this match? Or is it going to be the Pumas' day? I don't know what the odds were at the start of this match, but I can tell you right now they probably sit a little bit different. Many people anticipating a high-scoring clash, just not what we got here between the teams. So I just want Ireland to make semi at least, says Patrick. Yeah, see, for Ireland, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because they have got quite a few aging players at the moment. I do think there are a couple other sides around the world that are a bit similar. How this World Cup in 2027 is their big chance to really do what they can. And then from there, you know, it's that rebuilding stage. 2031 feels so far away compared to after that 2023 World Cup. I don't know about you guys, but I felt like 2027 was very close for some reason, just with how quick time had been going. So I feel like 2031 at the moment sounds miles away. And for that reason, we're going to see some very different sides at that stage. When that guy that said Bulls the best team in South Africa says 420, and also the Bulls need to stop passing the ball, which is an odd thing to say, says Studs Rays, and I'm enjoying that the Pumas have made the game of this. Yeah, they could have easily laid down and just let the Bulls dominate in this game, but they didn't. They decided that this was where they really needed to show off what they could do. And, you know, the Pumas have still been far from perfect throughout that first half, but their scrum is the game changer. To be honest, I have to agree there. Hamish Time Flies says Blues Nate. And also feels like I'm watching a final, says Minecraft Pixels. And I'm back. Very low scoring game so far. But we're up for a great entertaining second half. Vic is currently in hospital. He's struggling with his back. Please wish him good luck with the recovery. I actually messaged him last week when I did hear that he was in the hospital. And so hopefully Werner's doing all right, seeing as he is doing them solo at this current point in time. And the Pumas are surprisingly leading against the Bulls at halftime. Nobody was betting that the Bulls will trail at halftime, says Mornay Lagrange. And the Bulls coach did not adapt. They play right into the Pumas' good defence. No plan B, change it up. Don't have to pass every ball to Rudolph. Yeah, and he has been one of the guys who has received a lot of ball throughout the last little while, hasn't he? So maybe it comes down to finding that next attacking runner. Mixing it a little bit more. Never got worked up about a World Cup again. Just been too many in my life now. Hamish, do you get worked up? Not really, no. Like, I think it sounds really weird to say, but the Rugby World Cup last one, we covered every single game on the channel, all at random hours of the morning. We had sleepless nights from doing editing or doing live streaming. It broke my sleep schedule completely. So by the end of it, there was also a part of me like, yes, of course you want to be excited for those real big matches, but there's also that little tiny percentage that you're like, I'm looking forward to a bit of a spell here. Like, that was a hectic time. And we're going to be doing the same thing for 2027, although the benefit is the time zone of Australia. I'm so happy with the fact that it is a Southern Hemisphere World Cup for the Aussies, because that at least means that my sleep schedule won't be completely broken. Aotearoa Rugby Pod and the Breakdown. I both spent a lot of time talking about Eden Park Showdown. Says Albert. Though they kind of have to, because, you know, if they talk about that, they get South Africans viewing. So for them, it is smart to talk about it as much as they are, because then they get the viewers. It's a little bit similar to the URC being a low level comment from Stephen Donald. Like, that got them more viewers than they've had in a really long time. Do you think Pumas will change their jerseys now in halftime? Says Manus. They normally do, don't they, the Pumas? They normally go for that one. True Hamish time zones. Says Blues Nate. Ireland women's team just smashed in their last warm-up versus Canada. See, that's the other thing. The Women's World Cup is happening just around the corner, isn't it? So there's more and more rugby taking place all around the world. I've been reading all the news about this new 360 league with horror. All lovers of rugby need to protest to stop it. It's going to ruin rugby. Says Robert. See, I haven't read up on anything as of yet to do with it, but maybe I should. But what's the gist of it? I know that there's going to be big money available for rugby players, which I assume is going to draw them away from other certain teams. So basically no one in New Zealand cares about Eden Park. Says Albert. No, but I enjoy the fact that you're trying to write a narrative. It's just pretty much like some New Zealanders, of course, are very excited about it. But at the same time, a lot of people are going, that's not the only game of the Rugby Championship. New Zealand still have to try and get the job done up against the Pumas next weekend as well as the weekend after. Like, you can start stressing about the rugby match up against South Africa the week of. But until then, or maybe the 2 weeks prior. But New Zealand can't look too far into the future. It's the same with South Africa. If they're obsessing over the Eden Park Test match, then they will struggle up against Australia because they have to have their mindset right. And Rassie and his coaching staff, they will be doing everything that they can to make sure that they dominate those games up against Australia to build as much confidence as they can heading into that Eden Park Test. But, you know, there's still time. We can get hyped for it 2 weeks beforehand. But for now, there's some big games still to come for the Rugby Championship for both of those sides. They have to have their mindset right heading into it. 5+ phases, only twice in this match we have seen. Correct, concentrate on the job at hand, says Wenma. Yeah, because all that getting too far in the future does, it's like a World Cup, for instance. If you're concentrating on your semi-final when you've still got your quarter match, that's when you normally lose. Eben said in an interview that Eden Park game is the most important game of the year for him. It may be, but he won't deny the fact that he still has to concentrate on the matches up against Australia. And people put in the cart before the horse. Exactly. Like, you got to be careful not to get too excited about the future before you happen to play those matches now. New Zealanders aren't really hype people. Some people do. Just kind of think, game's on, cultural things, says Studs Rays. Yeah, like I think that some of the most avid All Black supporters probably don't even think about a match till the day that it's happening. Like, they'll look at the lineup, go, okay, that's who's in the team, that's it. You know, you go out and you get yourself your beverages and then you watch the game. Like, I don't think many people do stress about the future games. The last 4 World Cup, says Patrick there. And we have got there, people put in the cart before the horse, says I Lollipop. And there too, we better look through at the benches, ladies and gentlemen, seeing as we are currently still at the halftime break. That's not the right bench. There we go. That's the one that we're after. We see there Devon Blood as the number 23. Fouchier, Fredericks, Pretorius, Tennyson, Maritz, Sully, and also Kemper for the Bulls. They have got the youngster in Nebelele. Did very well in the under-20 competition for South Africa alongside Walker, as well as Badenhorst, who I honestly think they will put those two on early because the scrums have not been going well at this point for the Bulls. Van Niekerk, I believe, actually started in this match due to Chris Smith missing. And then also O'Connell there, Robla, Ferreira, and Delu. But second half, I would say, is very close to starting up. Now this so far at least not good for the new coach's CV. And Hamish, will you do the lineup prediction for the Springboks versus Australia with Vic tomorrow, or with Vern tomorrow, since Vic is in hospital? Says Manus. I haven't actually planned it as of yet. To be honest, something that I was looking at doing was every single match for the South Africans, I was going to end up doing a collaboration with a different person for every single game, but I don't know whether or not I've been organised enough to be able to do that. Plus, I did enjoy doing the one with Vic and Vern, so maybe we will do more in the future. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what's happening there, because Vern may not want to do it solo. Maybe he wants to wait till Vic is back to be able to do it. I think for South Africans, we have won everything. So you can win, or everything you can win. So the Eden Park Hoodoo is something they want to break as the next challenge, says Albert. And if the Pumas can play like in the second half, an upset could be on the cards, says Morna. Yeah, currently they have got themselves the 3-point lead. Of course, they would like it to be more, but I think they'd still be more than happy that a game that they were anticipated to lose by such a large margin, they are leading after the 40-minute mark. Now, I will mention there is another game happening just around the corner too, ladies and gentlemen. It will be the match between the Sharks and the Cheetahs, which we are also covering on the channel. If you put South Africa on your travel bucket list, it is on there, but I haven't done a lot of traveling as of late. But South Africa is certainly somewhere that I would like to go at some point in the next decade, I would say. The Bulls to win, says Patrick. There's a decent chance that we see a big Bulls performance in the second half. You're just showing the Caribbean Premier League. That is not a mile away from starting out. Come on, the Cheetahs, says a win. And yeah, that will be a very intriguing head-to-head, because the Cheetahs have had some great moments throughout their Currie Cup already. They lost that game up against Boland, which honestly they shouldn't have. I thought that they should have just about been able to get the job done there. And a lot of these sides in the Currie Cup at the moment, they've had like one good game, one bad game. The Cheetahs are a little bit similar. They have one win, one loss. Having a good win of, I believe it was the Griquas last week. But now 1-1 at the moment, the way that it sits in terms of the try count in this fixture. Both sides making their way back out. EJ's having a good old time here in South Africa now. Here's Albert. Yeah, he has become a very successful YouTube channel. So it's great that he's able to kind of showcase, because I think it was for the Varsity Cup, I think was the first time he went to South Africa, if I remember rightly. And the fact that he's able to do that, he went to Australia for the Lions tour. Like, it is also a testament to how long he's been in the game. EJ has spent more time on the beach here than me. Says cool story. And also we have got there, I bet the Bulls dressing room is uncomfortably hot right now, says Jimbo. And judging from last week's Shark game, Cheetahs stand a very good chance, says Wemma. In my opinion, New Zealanders have had our sporting tribalism and competitiveness beaten out of us by a lack of men teaching, coaching school sports. Boys being taught to have fun instead of getting stuck in, says Thuds Race. Yeah, I mean, rugby is no longer the number one sport in New Zealand in terms of participation numbers. In fact, I think it's about third at the moment now for New Zealand. So it is certainly declining in some regards. It's no longer considered the be-all, end-all of New Zealand sport like it was in past times. Second half just about to get underway here. And we have got there, true for most of us here. See, as Albert just joined Hamish. See the Pumas giving Bulls a good go at Loftus. So tell me, Hamish, where is Rugby Itch these days? I missed the guy. So he is now fully studying full-time. So he was doing his degree and doing YouTube at the same time, but now he's committed to trying to finish that off. So that's where the Rugby Itch channel, he said at this point, doesn't seem like it's coming back. We have got there, my PE teacher has been a major in the SAS. Says, lollipop, and already the early penalty here. That is going to go the way of the Pumas. So they have a chance to add 3 basketball and soccer. Definitely more participants in New Zealand. Yep. And yep, shot called here for the Pumas early on in the second 40 minutes. Same here, Thuds Race. So here's a Jimbo there. And yeah, that ball just really nicely done. Ripping in there was Sumpy Swickers. Now the important kick for Visachi. He's sitting 2 from 2 today. 1 conversion, 1 penalty. It's one about 35 metres out. Shouldn't be too tricky. Definitely with the fact that he'll more than have the distance for the strike. And, he shanked it away to the side a little bit. So that will make the score remain at 10 points to 7, but not the miss that I think was expected at the start. It did seem like an easy enough one for him, Lilia. Not a beauty contest otherwise. You be num 1, says Patrick there. Damn, that was smooth, Patrick. Doing well. Now, sitting on the halfway line, Darren Adonis. Going to Ole Engelbrecht. Oh, turnover on the ground from the Bulls. It's going to be now play on. They have decided to keep Dylan Smith and Jean Erasmus out there for that little bit longer. Marvin O'Ree. Oh, big shot, and it's a drop ball there from the Bulls again. Can't miss that kick. Every point is a must. Absolutely. The only thing that you'd say works in this case for the Pumas is if they then score a try now. You could argue it kind of worked, I guess. We have got there, you jinx the kicker, Hamish. Says Roger there. But Yandre Rudolph got the steal and the breakdown once more. He is really the pivotal part of this side. And then just knocking it on in the process, Junior Pokamela. Do you miss Rugby Itch at this moment? I do a little bit in terms of doing the videos each and every week that we were for the likes of the Springboks and the All Blacks. But at the same time, I've still talked to him a little bit since he's given up YouTube. He pops into the chat. He was actually here on an earlier live stream. Come on, the Bulls. Says Craig there. But now, that scrum is holding strong. This time, Pumas do not get themselves the advantage. Attack and run from Van Niekerk. And the first man there is Yandre Rudolph, looking for the steal, but goes in off his feet. Now, Swart getting wrestled down. Off to the right now again here for Van Niekerk. 2 carries in a row, fended up by Yandre Rudolph, as well as Pokamela. Rudolph told to get out of it, decides to ignore the ref. Gives away the penalty. Just Alan Drew says, Patrick there. Did you play rugby at school level? And if you did, what position did you play? I was out on the wing, but never touched the ball other than defending. Unfortunately, we had a 9 and a 10 combination that their dads were the coaches. So their mindset was, let our 2 sons always have the ball. So I was out on the wing, and I think I played 2 seasons for this team that had them as the 9 and 10, and I touched the ball twice from 2 years. It was a lot of tackling, though, because we were quite a bad team, because we never used our backline. It became very predictable. I know the Bulls can pull this one through, says Johannes. Now, looking to use this one on the left-hand side. The Pumas sit in 10 metres out from the try line. Swichers getting there a little bit closer. Nice hands there from Skippers this time. And pity Yandre Rudolph left the Cheetahs. Just below the Currie Cup. Backline movement here for the Pumas. On the outside, Kutsia. Imagine what rugby will be like when Hamish is 80. You came for an 80th special. Says, cool story. I wonder what the world will be like, or YouTube in general by then. I actually thought back in the day YouTube wasn't going to last, but it has. It's still going. Now looking for a steal in the breakdown for the Bulls, but they left the ball behind. Now Willie Engelbrecht, couple big fends from the Pumas, number 8, and the skipper scores. Wow. This is a game that has not gone at all the way that anyone did predict. As the Pumas will now have a lead by 10 as long as this kick does go over. This is sensational work from this team. Never play rugby at school, but I guess rugby is one of the difficult sport, says Simon. And also there's the best passage of play in the game, and the Bulls' defence is going well too, says Studs Race. And also, where in New Zealand are you from? I'm halfway between Christchurch and Dunedin, is the best way of describing it. Pretty much smack bang in the middle of those two. Why did Rugby Itch give up YouTube? And why is Rugby Itch studying? Or what is Rugby Itch studying? So why did he give it up? Because he didn't have enough time to also study, because his degree is pretty full on, and he's studying, I think it's sports science or something similar to that. I don't know the real fancy terminology for it, but I'm sure he could tell you. Or we'll see him at some point in the chat. He'll be able to ask him. But good finish from Willie Engelbrecht, just powering over the top of Else. And the Bulls at home, exactly. At Loftus of all places, for them to be able to perform the way that they are here is something you do not expect to see if you are a Bulls supporter. But it's going to be kicked off high now. We'll go like that and like that. There we go. Now, good low tackle made on Visachi. And well, look at these Pumas go, says Chantel. Some of my biggest injuries of my life are from rugby. And a medical year of rugby at school, we went undefeated and lost in the final 9-5 to a team we had beaten twice. Sometimes it just works out that way, unfortunately. Sometimes they just get your number slightly. But now, ready for another line-out throw here. And we really can't lose at our home ground, says Christo. Yeah, like, it's such a weird game at the moment. Because you wouldn't think there was a really one-sided favourite in this game. Nice run forward from Pokomela. Now, they have got themselves the penalty advantage here, the Bulls. So, once again, this game is far from being over. Zach Berger, though, off to the right-hand side, finds Janbre Rudolph now. Thought about the skip pass from Jaco van der Walt, but nice defence from Nijkerk. We have got the Bulls are playing or making hard work of this, says I Lollipop. I need the Bulls to win by 25 to get Super Brew points. Oh, it's another knock on, but they will go back for the initial penalty. Sounds like 3 was offside there, so that will be against Swickers. My back and neck was never the same after high school rugby, says Albert. And didn't see this happening, and Bulls need to strike back now, says Blues Nate. Yeah, being down by 10 at this stage of the match is definitely not what the Bulls had on their plans for this game. Hopefully Rugby gets doing YouTube sometime in the future. I think he's mentioned about possibly coming back to it at some point down the line. But for now, I think the next kind of year and a half or so, he's probably pretty tied up. Now, Badenhorst will make his way on. That is going to be for Erasmus. Does have to make his way off. Jean Erasmus, not exactly the best start for his first start there. Our Bulls need to stop passing the ball, pretend it's raining. For me, it was my knees. 4 years of high school girls touch rugby. Says Chantel, and he's a big boy tight head for the Pumas. And like they're just saying, what a game to come in off the bench for Badenhorst. It was even more embarrassing because we had way more supporters than the other team. Yeah, that never helps when you're in front of that home crowd. The Pumas, they have got the scrum. So maybe that is actually why they decided to make that change of Jean Erasmus just then to try and keep that scrum in their favour. Now, I'm not actually sure what happened with that initial penalty, which it seemed like they were going back for, but the scrum was successful. Now the Pumas kicking downfield. Does get this one into touch. It will be about 40 metres out that the Pumas have got themselves a line-out throw. And don't worry, we'll be in the second half. Go the Bulls, says Johannes there. And kids should only play touch rugby until their bodies are fully developed, says Wemma. You see, I used to play quite a bit of touch rugby before tackle, but tackle came in at about 6 years old, I think, or 7 years old. As when you start tackle rugby here in New Zealand. Going to be thrown in, taken by the Pumas. Awkward landing there, but it's kicked downfield from Zach Berger, who gets in a foot race with Darren Adonis, but in fact it's going to be Edwan Swart, who does end up with the ball, showing off a bit of his strength and speed. Now short side, no one there, and now Brodia going for the chip behind the Pumas. They have 2 men through the pass off, and now the foot race. He will get there, and the Pumas score another try in this contest. They are 1 away from the bonus point here, ladies and gentlemen, and the coach is still not even cracking a smile because he knows the job's not done yet. But the chip in behind from Brodia. Tian de Klerk is the man who gets the try. The assist all goes the way of Ross Brodia there. You knew that they were elite. Who's your nearest rugby YouTuber at this moment? In terms of like location or in terms of like relationship? We have there. Let's go. The Pumas, says Lilia B. Could play 1, 2, 3 all positions, says Patrick there. But a great finish from Tian de Klerk. And talk about surprise. Kalami shocked with this game. And go the Pumas, says Hazel. But now Visachi setting 3 from 4 at this point in time. He's hit the post and missed. That one hurts a little bit. Hasn't quite got that line right. De Klerk running that one and was awesome, says Studs Race. Yeah, there was a moment where it looked like he was actually going to get caught. But luckily for him, did get outrun. To be honest, guys, it feels like the Bulls have underestimated the Pumas. You can't beat the mighty Sharks. Struggle against the Pumas is really embarrassing, says Simon. And also we have got their Bulls not playing very smart rugby. Go the Pumas. And looking good, Pumas, says cool story. But yeah, 7 points to 22. The way that the scoreline sits at the moment after 52 minutes in this contest, the Pumas once again have got the ball in the hands of Van Niekerk, who has to be close to man of the match with the way that he's been going so far throughout this match. Looks like there is an injury for the debutant Bulls player, and they are actually going to go back for this injury. Feeling hungry, says Danielle. 3 scores now, says I Lollipop. And Leka Pumas, says Hazel. And there too. But yeah, exactly right. 2 converted tries would give the Bulls still a 1-point deficit. And the Pumas are Currie Cup victors, no mugs, says Wemma. And yeah, it was very easy to get caught up in the hype of this Bulls side with the way that they have played throughout their first 2 games. But this Pumas side possibly bringing them back down just that little bit here. Looks like a couple changes are about to be made. Chris Smith about to make his way on. And also Nebelele will make his way on as the Bulls' replacement hooker. That is going to be for Else. And Pumas front rows move out of the way. Big units 1, 2, and 3. Here's it, Blues Nate. And there too. Surely it's not Lost Pumas. It is not, but I probably said Lost Pumas accidentally. And cheers, Hamish Night All, says the Thuds Race. Nebelele. Big chance here for the scrum. Just joined JJ Theron as 2 of the young under-20 players out there on the field now. And does look like Chris Smith is going to be that next sub that they decide to make. We have there Rugby Itch is no longer a YouTuber. Who do you chat when it comes to rugby? I've talked quite a bit to Vic and Vern, as some of you know. The ones who I did do that lineup prediction with for the Springboks up against the Italians for the second match. Outside of that, I talked to Tony and Mark a little bit, or probably more known as Distracted Sports and 2 Cents Rugby. I had them on the channel last week or the week prior, I think it might have been, that they did both pop on. But now, getting ready to feed this ball in. In fact, I think it was the first match up against British and Irish Lions in Australia. Like they've just said, 29-7 could be on the cards. Big push there from the Pumas scrum, and they will yet again get themselves the penalty advantage. Nice backline movement shaping up, going on the outside to Darren Adonis, who has to spin and steps back infield. Now off to the right again, Brodia. Short ball from Visachi, who's tackled round the halfway line. Now Visachi, they're actually going to kick this one here, the Pumas. I don't know if that's the right choice, although it's a very good kick. A slip as well. Oh, the miss kick from Darren Adonis. All he needed to do was connect with that ball, and he could have been through for the try opportunity, but did not take it cleanly. Now, taking this one quickly for the Pumas. They will keep this one alive and try and keep on applying that pressure. Big tackle made. About 42 metres out from their line now. Pumas continuing the attack. Inside Rugby with Mark, says Lilia B. I have not chatted to him. He's the one in... Is he in Mexico? Lilia? But now tackle is made. And something new. To see some top teams at the bottom of the log and others struggling. Good to see other teams giving competition, says Hazel. Oh, they're asking for that penalty. They are saying that the Bulls player is being held in there. Now, Van Niekerk again with a good attack and run. On off to the left-hand side. Skip pass out wide. Finds Adonis. Forward pass to Willie Engelbrecht. That's the type of mistake that they could not afford to have. Needed to keep that ball in hand. 25 minutes left on the clock now. It is ticking by fast. If you are the Bulls, they need 3 tries or at least 2 tries and something to be able to get themselves back into this game. We are seeing another player going down with a bit of an injury. Yes, in Mexico. Says Lilia B. And Marcus in Cancun. Says I Lollipop in there as well. But you also never write off the Bulls because at some points they always surprise us and become victorious. It's an 80-20 to the Pumas. To win this game, it feels like the game plan is working, says Simon. Yeah, I think no matter how late in this game it is, maybe when there's 5 minutes remaining, but up until then, there's still is that feeling like there will be a comeback from the Bulls. And once again, that's just down to how strong they have been throughout this season and also throughout the URC. We've seen some great comebacks from that team too. So, yeah, it's very intriguing at the moment, whether or not it is going to be that big burst where they score multiple tries, or whether in this game the Pumas will just be the better team. Because scrums have been brutal. Big push there from the Pumas. They will go down in the front row, maybe a little bit too early in the push. And Bulls best scrum in the last URC season. What's going on? They have got, of course, the changes. Like normally they'd have Wilco Lowe, Gerhard Stennekamp, Johan Robela, those type of players in their scrums. But in this case, they have got the new guys, players who haven't had a huge amount of time. For confirmed South Africans, they are, but then they are now living in Switzerland. As a bit of a fun fact. But now, Zach Berger, he's the guy who could really turn this game around. Him and Butta Chamberlain, who we just haven't seen throughout this match as of yet. He's had a couple short stints with the ball in hand, but with the exception of that, not a huge amount of them whatsoever. Another scrum goes down. Now, as bad as this is for the Bulls, because this is using up valuable time, but at the same side of, or almost the argument is the Pumas, this is using up time as well. I dated a girl who was born, whose surname was Bum, says Albert there, and Switzerland, neutral country, says Patrick. They said that it's very handy location-wise that you can just pop across to different locations. Have they got a Women's Currie Cup happening at the moment? I actually don't know, to be honest. Someone in South Africa may have a little bit more information. I only got good chocolate, says Patrick. Apparently, they've got quite a good economy, or something to do with, like, you get paid quite well while you're over there, but things cost a bit more as well. But Zach Berger, that one's gone down front rows. Both have gone down, so no advantage. That's a big shot on Chris Smith, who did look like he was falling down. May have been hit a bit high. That's a flat ball to Janre Rudolph, who hasn't quite got it going throughout today as of yet. Bounce pass there from Smith. Chamberlain goes to a Van der Vault. The Bulls, they are just struggling to make meters on attack at this point in time. Now a little kick in behind from Butta Chamberlain. It sits up for Chris Smith, who is going to be almost, it looked like a trip there on him, but there's a knock on again. And the Pumas have the scrum feed once more. Okay, I think Schmidt might just be asking that question of maybe either go back and look at that shot that he did take slightly high. Swiss trains are incredible. They run on time to the second, says I Lollipop. I'm there too. My Uncle Paddy has an apartment in Lake Geneva, says Patrick. But yeah, that's a big shot on Smith after only just making his way onto the field. The Pumas are only mad because of the rice prices across the border. Says Martin, and Pumas was a dark horse coming into this game, but it seems like they are showing the Bulls. Should they win this game, it's going to be a big win for them. Absolutely. Definitely if they were to win this game by this margin. Tennyson making his way onto the field. That will be for Skeppers, who's had a pretty solid game in that number 4 jersey. Scrums and lineouts doing quite well for the Pumas in this game. And we have there rich and famous people go to Switzerland to retire. And cheers Hamish, Springboks women's looking solid. Cheers Black Ferns warm-up matches for the Bok girls. Says Blues Nate. Yeah, a couple intriguing matchups in that regard. And hopefully South Africa can do pretty well. The Women's World Cup, another penalty goes the way of the Pumas. The scrum's just not working. It looks like there might be an injury here for Dylan Smith, who was waving towards the sidelines. I think he's done for the day. The coverage is as scarce as chicken teeth, says Wenma. But it does go into touch. I've been to Geneva a few times, Patrick, one of my favourite places in the world. Penalties conceded 9 against the Bulls. I would love to know how many of those have actually been from the scrums, because I want to say that it's at least 5 in this matchup where they have had a penalty advantage or a straight penalty go against them. But it has not been an easy day. Pumas have the advantage as always, playing together and not have people get called up to other honours. Says I Lollipop. And yeah, they've just looked like the more effective team out there. On the field, they've had a good tactic or good game plan heading into this match. 3 Currie Cup appearances this season for Dylan Smith, but I think he might be almost done in this game. Pumas always surprise rugby fans. They always beat the big guns, says Simon. Oh. Okay, a nice little touch there from Ed1 Sport, just checking on one of the guys he's going head-to-head with in those front rows. But now it will be Gaborka making his way on for the final 20 minutes of this game. The scoreline is correct, ladies and gents. We haven't got it round the wrong way. The Bulls came into this game as heavy favourites, expected to win by at least 30. In this case, they sit with their deficit of 15 with only the 20 minutes remaining in this contest. Our Springbok women's forwards are looking badass. I can't wait for the World Cup, says Wimma. Yeah, they showed a lot of physicality, didn't they? Which team has the best scrum so far in the Currie Cup? I mean, this game's probably pretty hard to judge, but the Pumas, they're looking pretty handy in that scrum department, but that could also be because the Bulls have been looking so lackluster. How many Bulls are away on box squad? So yeah, Jimbo, they have got quite a few away. Although this team is not that different from what we saw in last week's game up against the Sharks. Looks like Yandre Rudolph will be taken off the field. Now, that is a big switch because last game he was absolutely everywhere and one of the key players for this Bulls side. And hi, says Life with Lulo. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. This game has been extremely unpredictable, but we are going to be back for that next game taking place between the Cheetahs and the Sharks too, so be sure to stick around for that. But nicely taken there by the Pumas at line-out time. And I'm still here, just sleepy, says Bruce. Now moving forward, I will say the Lions, they seem to have been doing pretty well in their scrums throughout the competition too. All ball stolen in the breakdown. They were told to get out of it, and they decided against it. Gave away that penalty. The Bulls missing players. They've got a few missing, but once again, even with the lineup that they've got out there, they were expected to win big. But the Pumas have not allowed that to happen. They have said, we're going to beat you in front of your home crowd, and we're going to take a little chunk out of that points differential of over 80. I've just mentioned there the player not rolling away is what that penalty ended up being for the Pumas, now sitting about 20 metres out from the line. And our lollipop says Craig there 3 times. But now rolling maul tempted here for the Pumas. I've been told to use it as they are not moving forward. Junior Pokomela told to keep his bind. And one of the players was actually up in the air at that point. Nice sniping run on the short side. Look for the offload, but it goes through the hands of Kutsia. Had he hung on to that, it could have been try number 4 for the Pumas, and they could have had themselves the bonus point. Are you doing the game tomorrow? I am hoping to, yes. It is a 1 a.m. kickoff for us here in New Zealand. But yeah, I am hoping to do that one on the channel too. We look at there, sorry, says Craig. I was confused about the lollipop thing though, to be honest. And there are 7 from the Bulls compared to the 3 that we have seen from the Pumas. Yes, that's still, 7's not an absolutely huge number, but it's massive when your scrum's being dominated. I think lollipop means are not getting called up for the box. Just a wild guess. I'm probably wrong. Says Chantel. And also, what games next week, says Mohadeen. So we're going to be covering the 2 big ones of the Rugby Championship. They are going to both be on the channel. Outside of that, I haven't actually worked it out yet. I'd like to do at least 1 NPC game and 1 Currie Cup game, but that might change. Oh, scrum reset now on the cards here once more. So another 18 minutes remaining in this fixture. Of course, that Cheetahs Sharks game is just around the corner too. We're keeping a close eye on that one too. And come on the Bulls. Says Henko Len. So the thing is, 18 minutes is a long time. 5 reset scrums. Are we expecting the next game to be better, says David? So what do you consider as better, David? Because I know from the start in this game, you said that you didn't like this match after the first about 15 minutes, I think it was. So is it the fact that the underdog are winning that you don't like it, or just the fact that we've only seen the 4 tries so far, which is still a pretty decent number? Big scrum from the Pumas. They will win themselves another penalty, and they decide to take it quickly. He's over the line, and the Pumas have scored again to now give themselves a 20-point lead with just the 18 minutes left. Only 18% of us chose the Pumas, says Jimbo, and they're going to make sure that they win by at least 18 now just to prove everyone wrong. But that is the bonus point. So minimum from this game, I'd say the Pumas are getting 2 points for being either within 7 or also having that 4 tries scored. Just low scoring. Currie Cup, great for big scores, says David. Well, it hasn't been through a lack of trying for the Bulls, though. Like, normally at this point of a match, they're on 30 points, but the Pumas have just had their number a little bit. So if you're looking for a higher scoring game, I would say Sharks versus Cheetahs will probably be just that, because the Sharks' defense lately doesn't look like they can catch a cold. That kick is going over, so that extends the lead even more now to 29 points to 7. Who would have thought it? Maybe people were backing the Pumas to win by, let's say, 5 in a close battle, but this is far from it. This is domination from the underdog. And Pumas are strong. I'm in awe and ouch, says Lilia B. And also, thanks, Hamish. And also, well, congrats, Pumas. Never expected this, says Sucker Bull. And I think that this game, once again, just proves the unpredictability of the Currie Cup. You never quite know what's going to happen for a game, even when it seems straightforward. Sharks to win by 20 lol, says Jimbo there. And what did I say about a shocker? Says Roof now backline movement again on the cards. Nice attack and run from Kutsia. Gets through the defence. Continuing to run. He moves up to the 22. His legs will be getting tired. So he gives it off to Niekirk. Fun Niekirk, I should say. But 25 metres out again, the Pumas. Looking to use their backline. Popping the ball up. The Bulls are trying to scramble. But the offloading game is beautiful. From Willie Engelbrecht. Gets it off to Darren Adonis. Now, 12 metres out from the line. Rugby is a funny old game and cruel. Says Sucker Bully, yeah, when you're having an off day, there is always that chance that it's going to be pretty bad. And for the Bulls, unfortunately here, their off game was one where the Pumas decided to perform. Koboka manages to steal that ball, going off to the left-hand side for Chris Smith, who are looking to go the full length of the field here with the Bulls. And hopefully the Sharks cause an upset. Lily B, I'm on board. Says Blues Nate, and I agree. Yeah, I do think the Sharks will do better in this game, though, than they did up against the Cheetahs. And, of course, I did make a little bit of a dig at the Sharks' defence, but the Cheetahs have been, at times, just as bad this season, too, in terms of the amount of times that they have let the opposition kind of slip through the cracks. And there's Pumas Magic today. And making cocktails, let's get wrecked. Well, there you go. But now it looks like the Pumas are about to make a couple more changes. Island under 18, lucky to get a win over the Bokeh. And Dust Free says, Blues Nate, that kick has gone into touch. I saw it was very close yesterday. So is that a game that's taken place today as well? Because I think they were playing like the Georgian under 18s as well, weren't they? Been making it way lately, says Bruce. And Sharks and Western Province sucks at the moment, says Ruth. Says that's a bit brutal, but also not a mile off. They have been struggling big time with some of their matches, but Delvin Bloody will make his way on now as the next replacement, and that is going to be for Swanepoel at the back. Nebelele ready to throw this ball in. Score is sitting very nicely in favour of the Pumas. Our rugby is unpredictable. A strong team can have a bad day, says JT. Exactly right. And that is why somehow it keeps us coming back for more, because you just don't quite know what's going to happen in a game. Island by a penalty, our national team versus box seconds, says Jimbo there. Nicely taken. On off to the right-hand side. Oh, a little bit of an extra shot coming in the breakdown too there. And no one expected this, especially at home. Yeah, like I said, if the Pumas were going to win this game, some thought maybe by 5 or somewhere around there. But I just don't think anyone at all was expecting a scoreline like this. Not to the Pumas anyway. What happened to the Bulls, man? Yeah, they have had a poor showing. I think is the best way of describing it. I agree with Jimbo. Says Patrick. Now the Bulls, they are just trying to make something special happen here too. They do want that bonus point, which they would have to get at least 2 converted tries and something to be able to achieve. Bulls are looking great, or looking for the goalposts, says Ruth there, but 10 penalties against the Bulls in this game, 7 against the Pumas. A lot of those penalties against the Bulls have come from scrums, where they have been outclassed throughout this contest so far. Now Butter Chamberlain. This one into touch. It will be 5 metres out. A very good strike of the ball. High tough game for the Bulls. And stunning Pumas. Gosh, they're going to see Chantel. Now 12 minutes left. I think the Cheetahs beat the Sharks tonight. Tricky one. Because the Sharks, as bad as they have been at times, I believe they have still got something in them for this season. And at some stage it will click. I just don't know if it's going to be this game up against the Cheetahs. I think that the Cheetahs, away from home, it will be a tough ask. But I would say maybe. There could be the upset on the cards. Positive vibes makes them strong. Some big positive progress, says Blues Nate. And going with the Cheetahs. Next one says Ruth. Now looking to get this rolling ball going for the Bulls. Nebelele has got the position at the back. Zach Berger looking off to the right-hand side. Finds Chris Smith. Was once again tackled by what has been a strong Pumas defence. What's the expression? Of the Loftus Faithful in the stands. I can't actually see them from here, but we haven't heard a huge amount of noise throughout the last maybe 40 minutes. They're starting to fire up now, though, with the fact that their side are 5 metres out from the try line, diving over, and the Bulls will score it. This time it is Cornell Smith and a little bit of afters coming in there too. Referee trying to break it up. But the Bulls have got their second. They can still get a bonus point from this game, I should mention, for being within 7 and scoring 4 tries. The potential of 2 bonus points even if they keep on going. We'll go like that. There we go. 70 minutes through in this contest. Pumas win, says Patrick. Is Jake White still there? They might need him back, says Bruce. And also we got their Burger getting smacked down. Shame they can't keep up, says Ruth. But yeah, nice offload from Jaco van der Walt. Keep that ball alive. Gets the body over the try line to score what is a very crucial one in this matchup. Now, Butter Chamberlain again, just taking some deep breaths here. And if he can add some more points onto the board. This one kicked and struck nicely by Chamberlain, but just goes away to the side. So keeps the score now sitting at 29 points to 12. But it is still the case of 2 more tries needed for the Bulls in the final 10 minutes. You just wonder whether or not will be a possibility here. Some dancing going on in the stands too. I'm a happy Bull supporter. 10 minutes remaining, says Chantel. Yeah, we are at the business end of this competition. Wait, what's going on? Are they... Player on the ground is out of the... player on the ground is out of the game and doesn't have the rights to play the ball. Are they going to disallow this? We have got there, with this performance, I think the Bulls will win the other game, says Johannes. And the Bulls are screwed, says Patrick. Honestly, if this is a no try, it kind of summarises their game at this point in time. They've had some big chances that haven't quite come for this Bulls team. There's going to be a big upset, Pumas Maul and the Bulls. Right, so we're going to see it here. So the technicality of the law is if the knee is down, is then not able to then... Right, this carry now is what they are checking. So Schmidt is on the ground. Van Niekerk does seal it off. Oh, okay. The man on the ground plays at the ball. This is going to be no try, but they will still have the penalty, and it could even be a yellow card here for the Pumas. So 23 stops the ball from coming out, and then from there, playing it on the ground was Chris Smith, who then threw it up to his teammate. Sleeping more alcohol, that's the question. Says Patrick, and all we have also got there, this will be a shot for the Bulls. Great for South African rugby, says Brian. And also, Bulls lost, could see the Lions end up on top. Yeah, they'll have their big game coming up against Boland. Right. Okay, they're just going to go for a penalty here, rather than a penalty and a yellow card for the player being off his feet. And yep, no try, says Chantel, and a Bulls loss. Can see the Lions at the top, and boom, no tryouts. Yeah, so it does hurt the Bulls, but they are still in a very good position to be able to not just maybe score once here, but maybe twice on the cards near the end. Well, this detour certainly takes time out of the game. Says I lollipop. Now getting ready to kick this one towards the sideline. Ouch, says Blues Nate. A kick towards the corner for Buta Chamberlain. And like you said, every time there's a stoppage or a line out or a scrum or anything along those lines, that's extra seconds that the Bulls do not have. If they want to somehow mount a massive comeback, which it seems like that's the goal, or at least to get within the 7 points, they will have to start moving now. Nebelele has got that position at the back. This is almost shaping up to be the exact same move. In fact, it is. But this time passing it across to Jaco van der Walt. Was shut down. Gives the ball off to his teammate Chris Smith. Notification Sharks versus Cheetahs in 30 minutes, Kiwi lads. However they are, says Bruce. Yeah, so we are not too far away from that next contest taking place between the Sharks and the Cheetahs. Ball not coming out for the Bulls. And it will now be a Pumas scrum here. And it sounds like they are well and truly fired up at this point in time. 8 minutes just remaining for the Pumas to have. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because you just never know, right? But at this point in time, I want to say it's almost safe to say that if the Pumas can win this game by 22 points, this has to be the biggest upset of the Currie Cup this year, including future games. Of course, like I said, we don't know what's coming around the corner, but to do it also at Loftus needs to be mentioned in this scenario. The fact that they are away from home, the Pumas, and they are beating a team that was supposed to win by 30 by 22 just has so many layers as to why this has to be considered the biggest upset. Even though the Pumas, they would have felt they weren't massive underdogs heading into this game. But it's going to be kicked into touch by the Pumas from inside of their 22. And look, this has been incredible. Says Chantel, I'm trying to sip a bottle of beautiful French red wine. Sipping sucks, says Jimbo. And such a great second half, says Chantel there. And that's a nail. And the Bulls cough an awful performance. And Hamish is a hole-in-one. Or sorry, an all-in-one, I should say. I don't know why I read that as whole. It's not even really close, is it? Never Lily. Yep. Nicely taken at line-out time for the Bulls. Looping around it is Nebelele with the inside ball. Going again to Chris Smith. Across. Oh, almost an accidental obstruction there. Will we play on? Don't sip. Slurp is better. Says Ruth, and another mistake there. So it's a knock-on from the Bulls to summarise what has been a lacklustre day for them. And we have got there, that's why I said, or did the Bulls team have a hangover? Says Johannes. 76 minutes through. This clock is ticking by so quickly. It's a simple thing to do. To such an excellent wine, says Jimbo. And Jimbo was on the wine, switched to beer and vodka, says Patrick. And golf brain, probably. I was thinking about playing golf today, but it's not the nicest weather, so I don't know whether or not we will get out for a round, unfortunately. But now, scrum feed again here for the Pumas. What a big upset, says Albert. Oh, the clock's actually gone back from about 75. It's actually gone down to 73 now, so perhaps they left it running at one point when they weren't supposed to. Another big scrum from the Pumas. No advantage coming this time, but going to the short side. Look forward into the hands now of Darren Adonis, who's going to show off his speed, breaking through Van der Walt. Oh, good shot coming in from Van der Walt again. He's been one of the standouts for the Bulls. Do you watch MMA by chance? I certainly do. Drakus du Plessis going head-to-head with Hamza Chimaev next weekend. I'm considering doing a watch-along for that one, as it will be a pretty epic fight between the two. A couple other good fights on that card too, I believe. Tim Elliott on the main card. I think we're going to get to see... Who else is on it? I think Jeff Neal might be on that main card too. And whatever the second fight is from the start, the one after Tim Elliott's fight up against Kai Asakura, I also think could be quite a good one. But I can't even remember what it was. I remember looking at it earlier on and going, yep, that's a good one. But then I've now forgotten. I know my alcohol, don't be that sober guy, asked to go and get more. Says Blues Nate. But now, Pumas have got themselves the line out 15 metres out from the line in what has been a pretty epic kind of performance here, and all they need now is to just put that icing on the cake. How did you lose your footing at golf sliding down the hill? It was very slippery, and I was on a down slope. So it was quite a steep one. I could have kept sliding if I didn't try and stop myself. I got BJ on the balcony, and drinking not as a bad day. So now that could mean one of two things there, Patrick, and I don't know whether or not you actually mean what I think you mean, or whether that means something else, but now sitting only about 5 metres out from the line, I've seen every pay-per-view view on Fight Night since 2019. And over the side, another try comes for the Pumas. And this time it's going to be Hanno Tennyson. Okay, now there is a smile on the coach's face, and I believe that is because the, relief of knowing that you're going to win this game has now kicked in. And 10-10 Pumas ambushed us proper today. And well, lekker. Enjoy, darling. Cheers. But Tennyson scoring the try. This game has been insane. Is all I can say about it. It has been nothing like people thought. What's BJ? Depends on what context. In this case. Give me mine clean, Hamish. Not what you think. I'm trying to think of what else it stands for. What a game of rugby. Not what I expected. CSI lollipop. That one's going to miss away to the side. It does make the score 34 points to 7 with just the below. Says, okay, no, he was talking about that, Bruce. Ben Jason says, Wem Ma and Billy Jean. And also, Bulls in the ICU on live support. There's no hope, says Ruth. And Big Joe says Chantel. Smiles on the face of the Pumas here. And also Murphy versus debutant Pico should be good. Yeah, see, I didn't know too much about the Pico fellow, which I guess is because he's on debut, but intriguing that he's on such a big card. So he must be relatively solid, I would think. What's the other fight on the main card that I can't think of? The one after Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. It's going to annoy me if I can't think of it. I'll probably Google it in about 5 minutes, but now breaking through again now. And Beetlejuice, says Lilia B. Now off to the left-hand side. Kick downfield from, they said Tino Swanepoel, but I thought he went off the field earlier on. Cannonier, that's the one, versus Michael Venom Page. That'll be an intriguing type of fight. I remember when Cannonier did seem like an unbeatable guy for a few fights in a row, and then all of a sudden he kind of dropped down a little bit more. 34-7. I would have never ever predicted. I think if you put this as the scoreline and reversed it, that's about what people were anticipating. But this is not that. The Pumas, just 2.5 minutes remaining, 8 handling errors for the Bulls at this point in time. Like they've just said, that has been what has costed this Bulls side just too many times dropping that ball. Time for more beer, says Patrick. And don't touch me on my beetle, says Wem Ma. The coaches for the Bulls, they are not looking too happy at all, as you'd understand in this scenario, because it hasn't even been a slight loss in this case. It has been a 27-point difference. Now big push at scrum time, another penalty advantage for the Pumas. They are just not letting up in that department, going off to the left-hand side, now showing off the pace. Which there has been plenty of it for the Pumas, cheaters by 12. But don't tell Lilia, says Jimbo. Now offloaded, another chance here for the big man. Tennyson passes off, another chance to score. 5 metres out, the Pumas get another one. And they will bring up 40 points in this game with this kick. 41-7 in this game. What on earth has happened here? And Cajanan says, Patrick, with this performance by the Bulls, as a particular team, I think they must rotate, bring in the Bulls B team. The points differential, ladies and gents, right? We're going to look at it for a second here, because the Bulls, their points differential heading into this game was 89 in their favour after 2 matches. The Pumas had a +4 with the Pumas, the way that they are sitting here, with this kick going over, which I believe it will, they will gain 34. They'll go to a plus 38. And the Bulls, they will still actually be 65. No, one more down. 55, I believe, will be where their points differential sits, which is still pretty solid. But it will drop them out of first place. For now, anyway. And Pumas showing off now, and only 12, says Lilia B and Champagne Rugby. And they are violating us, says Sakabula. Now just the 6 seconds remaining. Short restart from the Bulls and the big driving tackle to match as well. The Pumas having the physicality from start to finish. Hamish, have you considered that this might have been a fixed game? That it was thrown, says Fred. I haven't, because I'd like to think that's not something that the Currie Cup would do. But now the siren sounding off to the left-hand side for the Bulls. Now Chance out in the wide channel. Flick back on the inside to Letebele. And it's another knock-on for the Bulls. That is how this match will now end. And to summarise it, massive from the Pumas, but sadly poor from the Sharks team. But nonetheless, we've got about 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, till the next live stream does start up. We are, of course, going to be covering that game between the Sharks and the Cheetahs. So if you are new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But thank you all very much for being here. Back in 15. We'll see you all for the next one.